Welcome back to Team Talks. It is a busy weekend of Premier League football and we've already had one match with Brentford beating Brighton by 2-0. 4 games to come on Saturday. Leicester facing Crystal Palace, Fulham against Bournemouth, Wolves face Nottingham Forest and Tottenham take on Everton, who look to bounce back after defeat at Old Trafford last weekend. Aston Villa face Chelsea, Leeds take on Arsenal, Newcastle travel to Manchester United, Southampton face West Ham, and then there is the big one between Liverpool and Manchester City. But let's start previewing the game at Old Trafford now. Manchester United against Newcastle. We'll hear from Eddie Howe, but first, Erik ten Hag.
High intensity with a lot of energy. So that makes it a tough opponent, and we know we have to play our best to get the right result.
I think they've got outstanding individual players, a very, very good manager who I think will do a great job there. So I think they're now going to develop their philosophy and their style of play, and I think you can see that already emerging, and they've given some very good displays. I think there's promising signs for them as a team. From our side, I think we have to go into every game with no fear and believing that we can win, and the performance levels have been very high and we're looking for the same again.
Well, it is a massive game, Manchester United taking on Newcastle, and it was a big win last weekend for Erik ten Hag's side at Goodison Park against Everton. They needed that victory to bounce back off the back of what was a brutal derby defeat against Man City the week before. Karen, how impressed were you with their performance against Everton?
They're good on the counter-attack, Jules. Part of me listening to Eddie Howe there, I'm like, I probably still haven't seen enough of the style I'd want from Erik ten Hag, but I understand why. But I think they are devastating on the counter-attack, and we saw that with Ronaldo's goal and how clinical they can be in those moments. And that's what he's saying. They've got individual players who, for me, are very effective on the counter-attack, and that's something that Newcastle will have to be mindful of.
That goal at Goodison Park for Cristiano Ronaldo, Glenn, 700 in his club career. It's an outstanding, remarkable career for this player who we've been blessed to see in the Premier League back again.
Yeah, I mean, the amount of goals that he scored, there was a stat rolling around saying that if Haaland scored, I think, was it 37 goals a season for the next 12 years or something ridiculous like that, he would only just match Ronaldo's 700. So I just think, for me, I really admire him because he's tested himself at every level. He's been to Spain, he's been to Italy, he's come back to England. And when the Messi-Ronaldo debate runs on, I feel as though he's pushed himself outside his comfort zone more than Messi has.
It's an average of 35 goals a season for 20 years.
And to be that consistent, and to what I really like about him, I think that's why he's the best, is because he evolves. He's constantly evolved as a player. Started out as a winger, pace, tricky. You see him now, he probably doesn't have that as much, but in the 6-yard line and 18-yard box, he just comes alive. And even how he got so many goals with his head, because he learned how to jump better than it. He's revolutionised it for me.
It sounds strange to say then, when we talk about what an outstanding player he is and what he's achieved in his career, will he be in the starting lineup come this game?
Probably not. I'm not sure who's fit for, but if Erik ten Hag has his players fit, I don't think he will. I think he's coming to the end of his Manchester United career. I think the manager's probably made that quite apparent by not playing him and things. But listen, for me, he's one of the all-time greats, and I'm just thankful that he's come back to the Premier League one last time.
Yeah, I think Anthony Martial still needs to be looked at ahead of the game, but he could potentially be back fit for this one, Karen. Who do you think is the most effective front three that we've seen Erik ten Hag try?
I would play Ronaldo. I think Ronaldo didn't have a pretty season with United, so wasn't fit to start. And now I think Erik ten Hag said that he's getting fitter and fitter. When he missed the pre-season, you can't be expected to be up with speed. I think you're seeing that of him now, and I think I would always play him. We saw what he did last season. He knows where the back of the net is, he would be my number 9.
What have you made of Anthony as a signing? It's a player that Erik ten Hag knows well. He scored 3 goals in 3 games. Does he do enough for you all round?
Probably not yet. He's got a very big price tag to live up to. very big boots to fill in the likes of Ronaldo and the people that Manchester United are used to. So probably want to see a little bit more from him, like this City goal there. I mean, it's a brilliant goal, but I want to see him influence the game. For me, if you're playing that much money for the player, he's got to affect the game constantly, and the opposition is playing. And for me, at the moment, he's not affecting it enough.
I mean, sorry, I think that's a bit harsh, coming in, in the manner he did, and we expect him to hit such heights. I mean, Grealish was 100 million. It's taken him time, and he's still not there. So I think, and coming into a Man United team that's so scrutinised every time they play, and the transition period they're in, I think he will come good. And I understand what you're saying, but I think we can't put too much pressure on him just yet. But that's what comes when you have that price tag and you're at Man United. But I think it's a little bit too early yet.
OK. Well, Newcastle are going to hope to put the pressure on Manchester United in this game. They've actually only lost once this season, Glenn. But what have you made of them overall in their performances? They've won their last 2 with big victories. Yeah,
I think it's good at Newcastle. I think Eddie Howe's doing a fantastic job. And when I look at this fixture, I probably fancy Newcastle. I think they're high press. I think they'll go after Manchester United. He said he wants his players to play with no fear, and I think that's exactly how he'll go to Old Trafford. He'll want to be brave. He'll want to get on the ball. He'll want to create chances. And I think this Manchester United team are susceptible to the high press.
What have you made of Bruno Guimaraes in a Newcastle shirt as well?
He's been a revelation. And I think McTominay's suspended, so I think Casemiro will come in, and I think that's the battle between them two. If whoever wins that battle, I think will have such a massive pull on the game. But what he's done, he's not just he's an all-round midfielder. He can build up from the back. The stats are great with him in terms of his build-up. He scores goals. He's creative. He's an all-round midfielder, not just one type. And I think that's really rare. But he's had such an impact on Newcastle. I don't even think I expected that.
He's been playing a bit further forward as well recently, which is when we've seen him get more involved in those goals. When you look at Newcastle, it's been just over a year since the club was taken over, and they have such high ambitions of what they want to achieve. What do you think is realistic for them this season?
I think pushing for the outside European positions. I think that's an amazing season. The top 10 finish is a good season. Amazing to creep into Europe. But listen, I think when you say that, I think Eddie's done a fantastic job of managing the expectation on Tyneside, because that fan base can get carried away a little bit sometimes. So to manage that expectation, and I think the other thing that's really impressed me is the type of players he signs, sort of players that are good for now, but can also take the team forward. Like done a job last season. You've got Trippier, who's a player that you can build a team around. And then we've talked about Bruno, that he's one that can really take Newcastle forward into sort of the next 3-4 years and lead by example.
And it finishes with Cristiano Ronaldo with 700 club goals. And then 117 for Portugal, just for good measure. 700 club goals.
More than mine in terms of appearances. It's ridiculous.
I mean, and it's actually this morning in the British newspaper, Wayne Rooney was saying to him, well, you're going to have to face the end. Time doesn't wait for any man and all that.
He's absolutely right, but it doesn't look like he's round the corner, does it? I mean, it looks like he's still fresh as a daisy. He wants to continue to play, wants to win football matches. The club, I believe, he loves more than any of them. Real Madrid might have an argument with that, but I just think he loved his time, especially the first time round, really put him on the stage, and he's come back, and it's not worked out for him as he would have wanted, but he's still hungry for goals. I heard someone say perhaps in the Manchester derby he wouldn't have wanted to come on and score his 700th goal in that game. He doesn't care where he scores the goals as long as he gets them, and he certainly does that. For me, if he's still at your club, you have to play him.
This is off the back as well of playing 90 minutes on Thursday.
Yeah.
So it's not.
So he had to start on the bench today, and then Martial got injured, and he came on. And, Newcastle this weekend for Manchester United, Martial might still be injured. But actually, as Tim's saying, he's come on and scored goal number 700.
Listen,
surely it's time he started again, isn't it?
You can't buy what this guy does. I mean, we can all talk about the modern game and pressing from the front and all the buzzwords that go with it. But this guy knows where the back of the net is. His numbers will tell you that. He's still sharp. Look, no one's catching him.
No.
Once he's away from Cody, it's a foot race, and Cody doesn't get anywhere near him. I mean, it's loose play from Man United to begin with. Then Iwobi tries a little trick. This is a winger who's gone in central, whose form's been quite good, but you can't lose that ball if you're Iwobi. Then look at Ronaldo away. He's getting away from Cody. Cody's not catching him. And then even on his left foot, he's got the presence of mind to drill it hard and low.
He's so direct. I mean, if that was Marcus Rashford, I know exactly what he would have done. He would have got towards the goal and he would have cut back on his right foot and tried to bend it. Predictable for Pickford to save. Unpredictable. He does all. He can score all different ways, both feet. You know, he's fantastic in the air. I mean, what more can we say about the boy? I mean, he's just absolutely tremendous. For me, like I say, has to start for Man United. Why he's still there? Why would you not wring out as much as you could out of one of the best players who ever played this game?
I think three of the next four at home. Sorry, look at that, Don. Yeah. Newcastle, Tottenham, West Ham at home, and then Stamford Bridge in the middle of that. Come the end of the month, we're going to have a really good idea, actually, of where Manchester United may be this season.
I think Erik ten Hag's got it the wrong way round. If I was Erik ten Hag, I'd be playing Ronaldo in the Premier League.
Rather than the Europa League,
Thursday nights.
Absolutely.
That's the way I would go. I'd say Thursday nights, forget about it, don't even travel. You know, you get yourself ready for Newcastle. You play every single Premier League game. And you give him the time and the opportunity because he's a big game player. You know, you know what players are like, especially Ronaldo. You don't want to be travelling in Europa League. You know, even though it's a competition that you might feel as though you can do quite well in and potentially win it, play him in the final and play him in the
not at this stage. Play him in the new year when it's the knockout stage.
Rest him up and play him in the Premier League.
Listen, getting beaten by Manchester City is not an exclusive club. So if you take that out, United have had a pretty good month, haven't they? You know, it just looks like it's just beginning to come together for Ten Hag.
They've
done all right. I mean, like we say, the next 3 or 4 games would show exactly where they are. There's going to be some tough games, but I think Ten Hag, I think it's a slow burner. It takes time. We know it does, and it's a huge football club. But for me, I find it when I watch the Europa League games and I see Casemiro sitting next to Ronaldo, you know, and them having that conversation. I mean, you're talking about 2 proven winners, leaders. Get them on the pitch. You know, I find it head scratching some of the selections, team selections. I think he has to play his big players and his best players, and I think you need experience at this time to help you through. I think he's got a nice blend there. They've got some youth who are coming in. Anthony's done well. I think Eriksen's been outstanding in the midfield area. But get him on the pitch. Get these quality players. You paid a lot of money for Casemiro. Get him on the pitch. I thought he was really untidy today. I thought he gives the ball away. And then the next day he does a brilliant thing. You know, he wins it back and then he passes it forward for Ronaldo. That was typical of his game today. I'm not sure he's the cleanest of footballers, but he's a super winner. He's a superstar, this kid. Get him on the pitch.
Absolutely.
Some really fascinating matches this weekend. And Karen, you've been in charge of predictions for us. So let's take a look at what you've gone for. And obviously, we've had one game already.
There's a typo there.
Pleased to say, you got it wrong, Karen.
No, it was a typo. It was meant to be the other way around.
I reckon you predicted Brighton to win because you knew you were going to be sat between myself and Glenn, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Well, that one wasn't quite right. And for the others, let's focus on some of the ones we've not spoken about yet. You think that Wolves are going to pick up a victory?
I don't know why, Jules. I
think the more surprising thing is they're going to score a goal.
I know. I do think they play well, and we covered a game a few weeks ago and I went 10 passes doesn't make a goal, and that was what was so frustrating about Wolves. But I think they'll have something on Forest. They'll have to weather a little bit of a storm from Forest because I think they are energy now, and the 1-1 result gives them confidence, but I fancy them.
And judging by that, Arsenal to remain top of the table with a big win away at Leeds.
I think it'll be a tough game. I think Leeds will make it really difficult, and I think the goals will come really late on in the match, actually. I think it'll be 1-1 for a while, and then Arsenal will come through at the end to win 3-1. But I think it'll be a lot tougher than people expect.
And another win for West Ham, who have been doing well recently under David Moyes.
Bowen and Scamacca have come into form, Bowen in particular, and they've hit the ground running. Southampton really struggling. I think he's under pressure, Ralph.
OK, well, there we go. And you've gone for, in the game of the weekend, a big away win at Anfield for Manchester City to beat Liverpool by 4-2. We'll see how you get on with those. Karen, Glenn, thank you very much for your company. Lots to look forward to.